Welcome back. Everyone's candidates to go down at the start of the season would have been Burnley and not Crystal Palace while Tony Pulis was in charge. I don't know what the panel feel now. Neil Warnock has taken charge of Palace, but Palace at home to Burnley. Obviously, Neil Warnock came back. Newcastle, late equaliser for Zaha. Have they got enough? And how do you see the game panning out?
Yeah, I think Burnley for me are a team that are going to go down. I think Palace, big changes. Warnock, a great appointment. Watched the game last week against Newcastle. They were superb, particularly having led the game, then to come back at the end. Zaha, I think Palace will win that, and I think Palace will be mid-table this season.
Mid-table? That's a strong suggestion, Sharon.
Yeah, well, it's the power of Warnock, isn't it?
But yeah, he's not managed that well in the Premier League. I mean, he took QPR up, struggled with them. I don't care what anyone says, would have got them relegated before the change of manager there. And it's different from getting a team up to keeping a team up.
Yeah, I think all the good defensive work that Pulis did with Palace, I don't think the players will forget that overnight. It's not like Men in Black where you put something in front of someone's head and you face and you zap everything. So I think the Palace defence is well drilled and they'll have remembered those hours on the training ground with Pulis, and Warnock will perhaps build on that. And I agree with Rob that mid-table is a possibility.
And Burnley, obviously they played a poor Man United side before, and the time QPR played them this weekend.
I thought Man United did really well to get a 0-0 draw there.
Do you think Burnley will go down?
I do feel that they will. I like Sean Dyche, and I actually quite like Burnley. I mean, they're a decent side, but I think they're going to be one of those classic teams that gets promoted, and they'll do really, really well for the first half of the season, and then all the other teams will have worked them out, and in the second half they'll just absolutely drop like a bomb. And I think that's a shame, because they're a decent club. They're a proper old football club, Burnley.
Okay. And Southampton in the summer were selling all their players. They ended up buying a lot of players.
Yeah.
Do you think Koeman's going to do well for Southampton this season? And Alan Pardew, is he going to survive the season for Newcastle? They play at the weekend, Southampton.
Yes,
Newcastle.
yes. Southampton beat West Ham last game, didn't they? 3-1. Not necessarily the hardest thing at the moment with West Ham.
Will Pardew last longer than Allardyce?
Yeah, I think so. He's quite well liked by the owner at Newcastle. People don't understand that, and I think they've got a decent side. I don't know. It'd be an interesting game that. Southampton, I thought they would struggle. I still think they will do long term. I don't think you can lose 5 players that they've lost of that quality and continue the way you were. So they're not going to finish 8th. So they'll be in the mix. Come November, they'll be in the mix to go down. I think Newcastle just about good enough. And the guy that came on against Palace the other day, Aarons. My God, what a good... We're talking right at the beginning of the show about the lack of quality of English players, supposedly. I'll tell you what, he's a player. You watch out for him.
OK, so Southampton, will they finish above Newcastle this season?
No, Newcastle will finish above Southampton.
I disagree. I'll tell you why. It's because Ronald Koeman, at his best, is when he's a coach of younger players and he's developing them, feeding them, not literally, but giving them knowledge.
Feeding them little nuggets of...
Yeah, well, fruit, no carbs.
Does he regurgitate it for you?
I haven't
obviously
seen that.
feeding him in Amsterdam, obviously.
You and Amsterdam, honestly.
He struggles, though. He has struggled, allegedly, when he's been playing with or coaching established players. So I think Southampton this season is the perfect place for Ronald Koeman, and I think they'll shock a few people.
I'm inclined to agree with Sheridan here, actually. I think... if you read the media about it, they sold most of their team and they didn't buy anybody. But it's completely untrue. They have bought some decent players, and I think Koeman is a decent manager.
Who have they bought that's decent?
Graziano Pelle. He'll get goals.
They bought Pele, mate.
No one. Do you know what? That really irks me. That no one should ever be called Pele.
Different spelling, though. Isn't it? 2 L's.
It's a different spelling. It's 2 L's.
It's an Italian
flat
name.
rule.
It's a
flat rule.
So at the end of the day, the weekend game, Southampton-Newcastle.
Southampton. Can I just have a little Pele anecdote? Right?
Yeah, quickly.
I interviewed Michael Essien once.
Yeah.
He used to play for Chelsea, right? And I said to him, Pele once said that an African team would win the World Cup. This is prior to the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. And he said to me, which Pele?
And he obviously meant this one.
And he meant Abudu Pele.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah. Anyway, no one ever should be
So
called
we're going
Pele.
for a Southampton win at the weekend?
We should retire the name Pele.
Southampton weekend?
Draw. It's an exciting draw.
OK, exciting draw. Stoke have done well to start the season. They won at Man City, playing Leicester. I mean, it's one of those games where...
Draw.
Yeah.
Down Midlands draw, 1-1.
0-0?
0-0, written all over it, yeah.
Let's do a hard-working side. Of the three that have come up, they're probably more likely to stay up.
Good manager, by the
A
way.
lot of respect for Nigel Pearson.
And they just bought Cambiasso.
There was a time, though, I suspect that Nigel Pearson was under pressure in the Championship the year before they went up.
By the way.
Well, the year before they went up, it must have been pressured by the board. Sunderland, Tottenham. I mean, did Tottenham come back to earth with the defeat against the
Did they?
and sort of back to reality?
Let Chidge take Spurs, he loves it.
Go on then. Tottenham.
Who? What? Why?
Tottenham.
Who are they playing?
Away to Sunderland.
Sunderland will smash them, 5-1.
We were poor at Loftus Road. Tottenham, are they now sort of coming back to earth, but being beaten?
I love Sunderland because they've got Patrick Van Aanholt, who I thought was a superb player. Could have been Ashley Cole's replacement, but we let him go for a £1.5 million. Massively good buy by Gus Poyet.
But the point about Tottenham, do you think it is? You don't answer the
They're
question.
laughable.
In terms of finishing 6th or 7th again this season,
No,
Tottenham?
not a chance. I think Pochettino, I mean, to be fair, to be serious for a minute, I mean, Pochettino, I think, is a good manager. But I think that, people used to say, and actually still do, that Chelsea is a basket case as a club. But, I mean, Spurs are a basket case. Levy in charge, the transfers they make. I just don't ever see it working out for them. I think perennially they're going to be 6th, 7th, 8th.
That suits their business plan, though.
And it suits their business plan.
And one team that could well go down this year, one of my fancies to go down, West Brom. They haven't bought anyone significantly in the summer. They've got Everton, who have been...
Just signed their most expensive player ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think Etta would be a success at Everton, by the way, just very quickly?
I think
Well, he has been.
a bit player, really. But, I mean, Lukaku, I think, is a good player. I think Martinez is a tremendous manager. And I think Everton will... if you talk about Tottenham, I think Everton will finish above Tottenham.
West Brom need to get Lescott back. I don't know if Lescott's fit for this match.
He's been playing for the reserves to try and get him fit, I think.
They've got to get him back. I think he was at Euro 2012 for England. He was a really good performer for England, and I think Lescott's career. He's left Man City. I think he needs to have a really good season because I still rate him.
There's another guy, Rodwell, who's at Sun.
Just a final point on Everton, mate. Okay, we dubbed them 6-3 up there, but I have to say they were superb. The way they came back and pressed us. No other team will knock 6 past Everton at Goodison this season. They are a decent team. That was quite an odd result.
There's 2 more really big games to talk about before we talk about that. Liverpool-Aston Villa. Do we think Liverpool will win to Villa? And
should do.
Liverpool will beat them quite convincingly, in my view. I think that could be a hefty score, that one.
Okay, well, before we talk about, as I said, these now are the 2 big games of the weekend. One's on Monday, Hull against West Ham. But first of all, Man United QPR. Do we think with QPR have got Man United at exactly the wrong time, and that now, after that period of bringing in new players, or do you think it's potentially difficult on the day?
I mean, Harry, let's for sake of argument, all right, because Rob's here, say that Harry's a decent manager. Can you explain to me how appalling QPR's start has been this season?
It has, but we beat Sunderland, and I think fair to say, by releasing Remy, we've not replaced by a striker. That's what worries me. We've got Charlie Austin improving in the Championship. Remy's gone. We were on transfer deadline day trying to get Defoe in. We were trying to get Barini in. We didn't succeed in any of that, and we are really going to struggle if we have to rely on a Delta Ab who's overweight. Bobby Zamora again is past his best. We are going to struggle with Charlie Austin.
Who's the guy that scored 4 against Man United on New Year's Day?
Dennis Bailey.
Dennis Bailey, also the lead singer of with Phil Collins in Easy Lover. But I mean, could they not bring him back?
He turned to God, didn't he?
I know, that's right.
Yeah,
bring him back.
Yeah.
Well, you've got God there, haven't you? Hoddle's still.
But I think midfield we bought well. I mean, we've got Fur from Norwich, played for Holland.
Your problem is what you've identified, having lost Remy, and on the last day of the transfer day, the window, not to bring in a striker, is a problem. And it was a problem when QPR went down, wasn't it? That you couldn't score goals.
He got Crancher.
Yeah, and they're talking about Defoe maybe in January, but that might be too late. In terms of Manchester United again, do you think there'll be... Now we will see the real Man United in this game.
Haven't they? For
Who are they playing?
QPR. Do you know their next 3 games are QPR, Leicester and West Ham? So suddenly...
Yeah, they've got to get results in those, otherwise you'd be worried, wouldn't you?
Well, absolutely.
Okay, well, we are going to talk about... So you think the Man United win?
You would have thought so, because
Where is it? Where is it?
It's at Old Trafford. But do you have one of those... You know, like you look at the coupon or you look about having a bet and you always go 4-5-0 to a home side. It never ends up...
1-1.
Yeah,
it's a Stenhouse-Muir bet.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to go to the treats at the end, I
what
guess.
About
if we've got
West
any more.
Ham, then?
That's the one. No, we are. Hull West Ham.
Our last one.
We're going to go to the tweets at the end. Hull West Ham. What do you think about that game? Steve Bruce has done really well to start for Hull.
Well, as you know, potentially an England manager, as far as I'm concerned. I think Hull will beat West Ham, and quite convincingly.
Do West Ham find it more pressure to play at home than they do away? I mean, is it acceptable you go to Hull and get beat, but if you get beat by Hull at home, then the pressure mounts? Because Allardyce has not got that rapport with the fans whatsoever, has he?
No, it doesn't help when you start mocking your home fans, and it's the whole thing is it's chaos really. One of the three owners or two owners at the club doesn't want him, the other one does, and he wants to go really, but provided he gets his payoff. And
can I ask you, is it a myth? Sorry to interrupt, but the whole thing that West Ham fans don't mind if they don't win a trophy every year, but they want to see nice football. Is that a myth or is it true?
It's not just nice football. You see, it's a combination of nice football and desire and playing for the shirt. So Billy Bonds, for instance, was as big a hero than Trevor Brooking because he would chase back and make tackles, and they just want people to care. Or they used to. I'm not sure what they want anymore.
But it isn't style of football. I mean, West Ham fans are a little deluded. We went to West Ham before the season started. They were talking about mid-table and everything. You got Andy Carroll's likely to be out for quite a while, and it's just the dependence on that big, strong striker to take the ball in the air.
I don't care whether he's big, small, whatever he is. Not even in the days of when I was growing up with Jeff Hurst or Bobby Moore or Trevor Brooking latterly, or Devonshire, or
Best,
Cotty, Clyde Best, McAvenny. Never once did the whole club rely on. No club should ever rely on one blooming player. I mean, this player's one-dimensional. I don't think he's bad, but to set your whole game plan around one player who spends more time in a club in Loughton than he does in one in Newham, particularly when he's injured.
Okay, so you
and I've just said that in code.
Right, okay.
But one of the owners knows that.
Right, in terms of the game, do you think Hull will beat West Ham?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Hull will win.
Right, okay. David?
I'm going to go draw just to cheer Rob up.
Really? Allardyce, how many games do you think he's got?
Well, I have to say, he just keeps rolling on. I mean, it's a bizarre situation. The fear they've got is if he goes, who do they replace him with? Mm-hmm. So they've kind of
Graham
got.
Hoddle.
No, I mean, if you push me into a corner now, I'd say Gus Poyet.
Okay, we've got some tweets.
We're just wrapping up quickly because I know we've only got a few minutes left, but a lot of people talking about Champagne as replacement for Sepp Blatter. There is not much support on our Twitter, at least, for Sepp Blatter, and in the wider world as well. Sepp Blatter does not look like the likely favourite. We've also got quite a few people saying it's too early for Manchester United, and they are expecting them not to do so well. So that's interesting and good for you.
Please, me.
Thank you for all your tweets tonight. It has been great to have your take on everything. Again, we've had so many different conversations open. A lot of it has, in the last sort of 15 minutes, been around Sepp Blatter and how incompetent he is. So again, thank you so much for the tweets. And it's at Sports Tonight Live if you want to join us again tomorrow.
And there's nothing incompetent about our panel this evening, is there?
They've been fantastic.
They've been absolutely fantastic. David, I don't know if you're cold, but it's nice to see you in your coat.
No, I'm feeling quite cool, actually, Pete.
Looking very cool.
Thank you, Kieran.
Good luck at the weekend. Well,
Cheers,
I don't know about that, but
well, you too.
it was a good game.
I mean, in all seriousness, I'd love you to get a result, United, because it would make me laugh.
Thanks very much indeed. Feel now Neil Warnock has taken charge of Palace, but Palace at home to Burnley. Obviously Neil Warnock came back. Newcastle, late equaliser for Zaha. Have they got enough? And how do you see the game panning out?
Yeah, I think I think Burnley for me are a team that are going to go down. I think Palace.
Welcome back. Everyone's candidates to go down at the start of the season would have been Burnley and not Crystal Palace while Tony Pulis was in charge. I don't know what the panel...
Big changes, Warnock a great appointment. Watched the game last week against Newcastle. They were superb. Particularly having led the game, then to come back at the end, Zaha. I think Palace will win that. And I think Palace will be mid-table this season.
Mid-table? That's a strong...
I think all the good defensive work that Pulis did with Palace, I don't think the players will forget that overnight. It's not like Men in Black where you put something in front of someone's head and you face and you zap everything. So I think the Palace defence is well drilled and they'll have remembered those hours on the training ground with Pulis, and Warnock will perhaps...
Suggestion, Sharon?
Yeah, well, it's the power of Warnock, isn't it? You know.
But yeah, he's not managed that well in the Premier League. I mean, he took QPR up, struggled with them. I don't care what anyone says, would have got them relegated before the change of manager there. And he's, you know, it's different from getting a team up to keeping a team up.
Yeah,